Alright, well. What? Then hold the mic then. I just.
What's your socials that you're gonna be?
Just put MDS. At MDS. Oh yeah, I spelled your one wrong last time, but it's cool. Got it.
It's not cool. Have you started?
Yeah, of course.
What's up? What's poppin'? It's Big Rose official, Big Brr, and MDS. You know that's how he wants to be known as at MDS. You know, no.
Why did you put so much emphasis on MDS? It's MDS. Just let it roll off your tongue, guys. You know what I mean? Guys, they're ladies. Let me leave the ladies out.
Extra. Anywho, so today we are basically continuing where we left off last time. We're gonna, be touching on mental health. We're gonna be touching on idolism. We're also gonna be touching on
Identity crisis. That's the youth.
identity crisis. I think we should start with that. I think that sounds very interesting.
I know I'm not hosting today. I thought I'd hand over the mic. Be a bit more.
I mean, it's called a co-host for a reason. I have to participate in hosting. Otherwise, I'm just furniture, which I could never be. Anyway.
Like IKEA, Flap.
No. We're not doing that. We are not doing that.
And so what
No, I am tailor-made. They didn't make this anymore. From the tailor himself, the only one. Amen.
We've got that as well, but let's get into it.
Right, cool. So, identity crisis. Why are we deciding to talk about identity crisis today? What's brought this topic to the surface?
You know what? Let me give you a bit of context. So, for me, I used to work in education. So, I was always working around kids. So, you get to see how kids develop and how they grow up. And the one thing I always used to see was the kids that were more sure of themselves would always do a lot better. And the ones that weren't would struggle because...
And what age range are we referring to at this moment?
Oh, it counts. It's all the way across up until you reach. In fact, you know what? That will go into more the mental side. But even me, I felt like at university, I had an identity crisis because I realized that, even though I'm here, do I really want to be here? Am I here for me? That's what I was feeling. Am I really here for me? Is this what I really want to be doing?
I feel like in different stages in our lives as a human, in the human being experience, we have to go through certain identity shifts, which can be seen as crises, or it can be seen as, development in other ways.
So what would be a shift for you?
A shift? Yeah. Well, shifting could be from like one age to the next. It could be one chapter to the next. It could be one season to the next, because no season is the same. So therefore, constantly shifting in that way, not remaining stagnant. And so constantly shifting, with the flow of what is productive, and whatever aligns with your growth personally, right?
Yes, I'll give you that. All right, I'll give you that. So for me, I feel like you have to go through that kind of a transition, not the crisis in general, but you have to be able to have that character development, as people say, that arc where you realize, right, the person I was is not necessarily the person I want to be, but I see that now, today, in this day and age.
Oh, we've got the white butterfly joining us. I feel like that is such a good sign. Like, that's purity and like peace.
Come on, when you got
and the Holy Spirit
when you're stepping
be
fresh,
joining. The anointing is with us always.
That too. Amen.
But
for me, I feel like if you're able to have that development in your character through a certain period of time, I feel like you'll do a lot better.
Right.
Because I'll use me as an example. It's best first before we go into the kids in education. So when I was at university, when I'll say towards the end of second year, I was like, damn, things are going well, things are going fine, but I didn't want to be there. Well, I felt like I didn't want to be there.
In what sense? Is that a mental capacity, a physical capacity? Like you do not want to show up?
Both. I checked out because I realized, number one, I started to educate myself a lot more. So rather than just me going with the flow and be like, yeah, this is the path, this is what I've got to do, I started to look at other things and things I could do. But
so you said you checked out. And so in terms of checking out, like, are there like, obviously I think everyone can do that in different scenarios, in different stages in life. But in terms of in your particular scenario at university, you're studying, this is your second year and you've checked out completely in a sense were there like a series of events that led up to you checking out? Or was it just like, you got to a point of information download, overload that you're just over kind of spent and then you check out that way, like mentally?
Like that, basically. Yeah. So I reached a point where I was like, you know what? I'm learning all of this stuff, but I don't see how it's going to benefit me because I was teaching already. I was teaching sports PE already. And that's the main thing. I want to specialize in sports so I could teach PE. Mm-hmm. But I was doing it already. And I deeped, you know what? I'm here for no reason. I'm giving them, I realized that Number one, yeah, not I'm here for no reason. Let me not say that, because university is useful for certain kinds of things.
Right.
But for what I was studying, I realized there's a lot of ways I could have went about it where I would end up in debt,
Okay.
and where I'd feel like I'm learning a lot more, because yeah, my course taught me practical skills or theoretical skills. So it taught me
Transferable skills.
nah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you can only get
No.
transferable skills from experience.
From experience, I think that's probably true as well. Obviously, maybe not in your particular scenario with university, but obviously in other scenarios, definitely, where you might not find it applying to your life right now, but in other places where you take those things that you learn, definitely can be transferable elsewhere.
But at the same time, it's also a case of, I feel like all the theory stuff that I was taught, yeah, it's beneficial. Yeah, I have a better understanding of the course.
But-
yeah, that might allow me to deliver it better. But I could have taught myself that without having to basically go to university, because times have changed. So,
Right.
like, I know my parents told me to go because I know that's what they knew. Like,
This argument is so funny. I've had this argument so many times.
that's the pinnacle of what they knew. Because I can imagine. That's the
Right.
pinnacle of what they knew in their time. Because in their time, the only place you'd get that kind of in-depth information into something is university.
Yeah.
They didn't really have the
Education
internet and all that
was
stuff.
like, can we just think about how times have changed so much? Like how there's so much avenues that you could prosper from without actually having to go down the higher educational route. Obviously, that was definitely like something that, you know, let's just say our parents' generation and before that, like education was like, so it was law. Like if you didn't have an education, you're nobody, you're nothing. Like, and you can't make nothing of yourself. But these days, you can actually be so practical with the things that you already know, the talents that you're blessed with, and the knowledge that you obviously teach yourself and gain along the way and stuff like that, right? To then be, you know, like we have influencers, obviously that's a different topic. You know, we've got people that create things and then become, you know, young entrepreneurs, business owners and stuff like that. So traders,
Entrepreneurs.
entrepreneurs,
Hello, my fellow.
entrepreneurs.
Hello, my fellow entrepreneurs.
I mean, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten, okay?
Food later. In fact, you know what?
See, I'm committed.
Hold on a second. You see, she's gonna say that like it wasn't on the table before, but
I wasn't ready.
I'm not. Wasn't ready. Guess what?
And I wasn't hungry then.
I'm sorry about the tangent, guys, but guess where she should have been ready? Remember last time when I said why we ain't in the studio?
But who's to say when I should have been ready? We didn't actually have a time prepared.
Correct, but then she gave.
So
it time.
therefore,
Hold on, but then she gave
I
it time.
did.
And guess what?
Because I was trying to be nice, but realistically,
I would have rather.
I needed to prepare myself
I would rather
in a
you-
way where I'm prepared for the whole day, you know, not just for a moment. Stay ready so you haven't got to get ready. Feel me? That's the plan.
I'm trying to say this is just a moment.
No, but I mean, we're shooting this episode, which is currently not going to last for the, you know, unless we're vlogging, which we're not doing, you know, which to be continued, we'll do a vlog day, we'll do something where we go out, right? And then we'll maybe do like a trivia, we'll ask people questions and stuff like that. So to be continued. See, I come up with the best ideas, right?
That's part of the team. That's the only reason she gets away. Yeah, I'm nonsense. But you know what? Nah, she's spitting bars though.
Okay,
You made me
so
forget.
how do you recover from, you know, being mentally spent in a situation
Yeah,
like
so
that?
with our parents, for them, going to university was the pinnacle. But for this generation, in fact, our generation, we didn't know it because we were the beginning of the internet. So we didn't really realize what we have. You know that saying where you don't realize what you've got until it's gone.
The technology of this generation has advanced, you know, the younger generation, Gen Z, and like the millennials so much. Like, I think you can do anything, trading, like there's just so much ways to advance yourself. Like you have to be on the internet and you have to be so tech savvy at this point. If you're not, then you're actually sleeping on yourself in some kind of way. Like you have
Not
to.
in every single kind of way, because if you think about it, like for me, I learned the majority of my course by teaching myself. Even though, yeah, you go to lectures, but in lecture you're just taking notes. But you still have to go back, take those notes, and you still have to go through those notes yourself. So I realized that, you know what, even though I'm going to gather this information from these people, I really could have done that online and still going through the same process of having to teach myself.
It's trial and error. Everything is trial and error. Definitely went through my trading experience. I was paying for things, but I was playing around, you know, in the field of the, you know, Forex life and the crypto life, but it was a learning experience. And obviously all of these things, like most knowledge you can get on YouTube, where we're at right now, right? So everything is just subject to what do you think you're buying, like what are people selling and what are you buying. Like everything is literally that at the end of the day, whether you think you're buying it or not. If you're taking the time to engage and, you know, give your time, your energy, like you're literally buying that, like in some kind of way with your time, right? So that's literally what life is right now. That's why you have to be so choosy and so picky with what you receive and allow people to, like, you know, feed you. That's mentally, that's spiritually, that's physically, like that's on all levels, like especially going forward, like right now.
But I feel like that's the reason why the kids of today are kind of going through it, because the things that used to be important, like for example, my siblings, they've seen the journey I've taken, but that journey is not going to be the same for them. It may
Absolutely
be
not
the same for my parents, and that would have been the same for them coming up. But then I realized, damn, you know what? They've got to know something else, or they've got to be able to find themselves in order for them to be able to be successful. Because if I knew what I knew whilst I was at uni before I went to uni, I would have taken things a lot differently. I would have handled things a lot differently. But experience, nothing teaches better. Because that's why I said nothing teaches better than experience. Yeah, someone telling you something or someone teaching me is fine, but unless you can go out there and actually experience it for yourself, I don't feel like you ever actually learn anything from it. Because it will always be a case of, yeah, but you'll always have that but bit at the end. And I feel like that's why so I feel like everything's going on today in society is happening, especially with the children and their mental health. I feel like the only reason why they're going through such an identity crisis is because, number one, they're trying to find themselves how we were trying to find ourselves back then, or how our parents were trying to find themselves, not realizing that, you've got all of these tools in front of you. And the ones that do realize end up excelling because, like, for example, today's influencers, no one would have ever thought about becoming an influencer back then. And I know a lot of people might be saying, they're not doing much. Yeah, but it's not a case of they're not doing much.
I think it wasn't even called an influencer. Like, I definitely thought about YouTube back in the days, like when they was doing like, you know, makeup tutorials and stuff like that. Like, I'm still into that and stuff like that. So maybe if you're lucky, you know, you guys might get a little tutorial, whatever. But, you know, definitely that was something that I was interested in. Like, even like just simple things, like you wouldn't really know these people, but they would somehow have you interested in what they're doing their day to day, just based on the content that they're sharing. It's literally personality. Like, and sometimes you think, you know what, I can literally do that, hence we're doing it. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just interesting how, you know, you represent yourself and how people engage with that, and like how that can become something. And I think that is kind of where like life is. I think people are trying to like sell themselves in different ways, obviously not in like a negative way, but in just terms of like, even when you have a job interview, like you're selling yourself, your personality, your skills, your knowledge, and what you have to offer to this business, right? So same thing with like social media and stuff like that, like how you engage with them and like why they want to engage with you type of thing. So that's literally what people are like interested in. And so I feel like as long as you have something to offer and that's valuable, you can definitely benefit from that and grow from that, you know, in other ways. But I do have a question though. What is like your version or your definition of an identity crisis?
My definition, right? So my definition is kind of complicated. I'll put it like this, right? So for me, it's a case of where you believe you know where you're going, but then once you're on that path, all of a sudden you realize that this is not what you really wanted to do. Because I believe that everyone has an idea of what they want to do. However, sometimes when you start taking that path, it's kind of like, damn. Like, for example, I wanted to be, when I was a kid, anyone asked you, what do you want to be? Generic answer, I want to be an astronaut. But I'm scared of heights. So it would have been a case.
Is that true?
Yeah,
you wanted to be an astronaut, but you're scared of heights?
Yeah.
I know you're scared of heights, but you wanted to be an astronaut.
Yeah. I legit wanted to be a pilot, an astronaut, but then I realized that, like, damn, you actually have to leave the ground. This is a problem.
So...
If you laugh at me, I swear.
No, but like in your young mind, did you not think, okay, if I actually wanted to pursue this, I would have to like overcome that fear?
No, because like I said, as a child, your thing is you're just seeing astronaut, you're seeing flying through the sky, because you're seeing flying through the sky, you're seeing planes, you're thinking, damn, that's cool. That's what.
So you're seeing the vision, but you're not actually deep in the steps and the journey to get there.
Exactly that. And I feel like that's
life.
No,
that's life.
That is it. Was like 100. I feel like that's what's happening with today's kids. I feel like a lot of them are choosing paths and they're not realizing the steps it takes to actually take that path. Like, for example, in this day and age, a lot of kids want to become influencers. A lot of people see the video that's posted, but not what happens behind the scenes. Like, for example, I was putting out YouTube shorts. That stuff is hard. You got to think of a caption. You got to think of a title. You got to pick the best bit.
Some hashtags in there.
You see what I mean?
Some editing skills.
That's all a myth. I'm not going to lie. All of that stuff is really long. But to some people, they just see a video upload, they're thinking,
it's a skill.
Yeah, no,
like it's literally a skill. Like
this is
what I say. Being tech savvy is such a skill, and to utilize that, like this is why it's crazy. Like the people that are in tech, like business wise, they're making serious dough. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like obviously once you have to have your hand in every pie, man.
So even me, even though I'm already doing security work now, but I'm looking at taking
security.
Yeah, well, I can't say what it is because I'm not allowed. I'm not meant to say what it is, but I'm doing. Listen, you'll be arrested. Not like that though. But you know what I mean.
So you're working for the government.
Fortunately, not unfortunately. Fortunately, I am. I love my job.
You have to be careful what you say around this guy, eh?
Nah, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's not that deep. It's not that deep at all. What do you mean? You're not even out here like that. What? Because you're out in your Matrix jacket, you think you're on stuff.
Anyway, listen, who told you that bad man don't dance? Who told you that?
She's not a man.
I'm a woman. I had to.
Nah.
Anyway.
Oh wait. Let me finish the last identity crisis thing. But also, I feel like it's a case of you having a lot of doubt. A lot of people have doubt in things that they know that they'll be good at. For example, like teaching. I'm not gonna lie. I was a good teacher, but I had a lot of doubts in myself because I'm not gonna say save because that's kind of like you feel like you have a savior complex. You're not out there to save anyone, but I felt like I wasn't as effective at giving the people giving the tools or giving the kids the tools in order for them to save themselves. Because I feel like you can't save someone, but you can give them a tool to save themselves. Do you know what I mean? So let's say, for example, a math teacher.
You can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make it drink.
See, I've been giving her these one-liners. She just
No.
She just be taking.
No. That's what you really wanted to say, but you just couldn't say it. There you go. So, on that note, identity crisis.
I'm gonna cut it out.
No, you're not. Like this is the real. You know what I'm saying? I think in terms of identity crisis, like I just think you have to be sure of who you are. I'm explaining. I think you have to be sure of who you are, right? And then once that becomes something that you doubt, that's when the crisis starts coming in. Because at different ages, you could be sure of who you are. But like I said, seasons come into play, and then, you're a different person in different seasons, right? And sometimes that challenges you to show up like in a way that you're not necessarily used to, or you haven't shown up in that way before, right? Depending on what kind of experiences you've kind of had on this journey, like thus far. So I think once that level of certainty starts to become doubtful, that's when the crisis of the identity comes in. But obviously once that certainty starts to once you work on that and you build it back up, that's when you become sure of yourself, and that's when you can operate in confidence and be bold and make those moves because you're so sure of yourself and you don't have that kind of doubtful mindset. I think everything's down to obviously the things that you're telling yourself, especially in this identity crisis, because you could tell me, this and that about myself, but I could definitely say you're lying and I don't believe you because I'm so sure of who I am, right? But therefore, if I'm not sure and then I have an outsider come and tell me, you're this and you're that and you're this, let's say right now in this scenario, it's a negative way, there could be some form of belief in that, especially if you've already doubting yourself or you have some level of insecurities. And then that mental kind of complex that you give yourself and that mentality of like, I'm this and I'm that and whatever, because you feel like what they said was confirmation to what you already feel about yourself, then that's when I feel like the real crisis comes in. And then there's so much work to be done to get to the root of actually who you are and who you believe yourself to be, right? Whereas in another concept, right, I might be in a place where you're telling me X, Y, and Z, but this is in a positive way now, like you're affirming me. That's a different story. And I think that actually builds people up and allows them to actually then, do you know what? Yeah, I am that great. Like, you know what? My source is popping, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, I believe my source is popping. They're confirming that my source is popping. So therefore, my source is definitely popping and no one can tell me otherwise, right? So I think it's just down to what you tell yourself, what you believe, and like I said, what you allow people to feed you, right?
100%. So in you saying that, do you feel like, so my thing is this, right? everyone's talking about how youth mental health has just risen, has just blown up, especially after COVID and self-isolation and all of that stuff. And my rebuttal to that is I feel like it's not just a case of just mental health. I feel like the whole identity crisis thing and what's been happening with the transition of generations has contributed to the rise in mental health. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think. Listen, I'm very big on mental health anyway. Like, I think I'll let you touch on that.
Yeah. So, for me, where you go? She went to go fart. So nah, for me, that she'll be back. So for me, it's more or less a case of where I feel like the only reason why a lot of people are suffering from mental health is because of how
First
things
of all,
are.
the wind was attacking my nose, so that's why I was being polite.
Listen, we all know what the wind is really attacking over there. I'm just saying, she's out here trying to.
His big
She's
head.
out here trying. My big head.
Yeah.
You know
My
what?
head is gorgeous.
We'll let you
It's
decide.
gorgeous,
I'm gonna
great.
put a poll out.
Whose
Whose
head
head is
bigger?
big? Whose head is the biggest? I guarantee your head is definitely bigger. But I forgot I wasn't. Oh yeah. Now, you know what? Now we're talking about health. I love this nose. This nose is beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
My fellow brothers out there, love your noses. Don't let no one tell your nose ain't beautiful. It means you can smell all of that nonsense. You know what I mean?
And that bullshit from your upper lip. Oh.
She got there first. She beat me to it. She beat me to it. You know, it's cool. It's cool. That's my life, firstly. I'm trying to say. Let me tell the people what they want to hear. Her head's definitely bigger.
Okay.
But
Seriously, mental health.
I forgot what I was now. Oh, yeah, no. So, mental health, I feel like the majority of what's contributing to it right now is the identity crisis because now you can all see what's going on around you a lot more. Like, way back in the day, I used to remember where the only way you really know what's happening in someone or what's happening around is if someone's going to tell you, like, you actually have to go out and have a conversation about it because you couldn't instant message things. Yeah, you could. I mean, yeah, you had AOL Messenger and all of those things, but that was a if you know, you know. Not everyone has dial-up internet. So it's a case of where information...
Like, maybe too young for that to know what that is.
What, dial-up?
No, you should like AOL. Some people.
AOL. Oh, that's MSN before MSN, basically, guys. Literally, MySpace days. So it's like Beep. It's like Snapchat, but I ain't that old. It's like Snapchat, but on a computer, on a desktop with a big back. You know what I mean? Everyone knows. That's right, the desktop with the big back, like a Dell one you turn on, it goes doof. That one. Everyone, they know what I'm talking about.
Times, like the TV with the box.
That's the TV with the back off. Listen, we'll get into that one. That's a whole different subject. But I feel like now that everyone is a lot more aware of what's going on around them, things can affect them more because I used to remember where back in the day, let's say, for example, something happens. You'll talk about it once. You might talk it for another day, but it's not going to carry on. Like, there's no log of it. Like, people are going to forget about it and it will pass. But nowadays... So, for example, let's say you have a fight in school. You know what? Because right now, youth violence is the thing that's the most highest. Let's say you had a fight in school. People might talk about it for the first 2 days, but on the third day, someone else is going to have a fight. Your fight ain't going to be that important. Yeah, you might have to hold the L for the first 2 days. I ain't never held the L before in my life.
Dishing
out these beatings.
What happened, you know?
Yeah, that as well. So, yeah, it depends on what happens. But at the end of the day, it's not like a thing where people can hang it over your head. Yeah, some people might, but it won't be a thing where you can kind of just
Unless
brush it
you're the
off.
one that got beaten up, then the people are talking that shit forever.
No, but even if they do, they can only talk about it. Like, but nowadays it's a case of where you can record it, put it out online. Yeah, people were recording things back in the day, but not everyone had a camera phone like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's not, you couldn't really keep these things and just log it and hold on to it forever.
Thank God for that.
And also, I'm not gonna lie.
Involved in any
Nah, but people are right now. Back in the day, it was treacherous out here. I feel like, I wouldn't say things are worse, but I feel like now people can actually see what's been happening, and
now it's so much worse. We can literally watch someone die on the internet and like.
Yeah, but these things are happening before, but you just didn't get to see it. But now you can see it.
No, we did see it, but now it goes viral. Like, that's the difference.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's not like not everyone would have known about it. Like, it's a case of if you know, you know.
Right.
So you wouldn't like, not everyone was exposed to it. Now you can go on TikTok and search these things up. Now you can go on YouTube and search these things up. Before, that wasn't the case. Maybe early YouTube, but then through the day they start to take those things down as things were changing. But I feel like with children being able to, not even children, just people in general being able to be exposed to other people's lifestyles, and being able to expose their own lifestyles and being able to compare those things, that's where
that's fucked up.
the identity crisis and mental health start to mix together. And I feel like that's why things have escalated so much, because now you see influencers online, for example. People be thinking that the life that they're living in their one still image is the life that they're living every single day. You didn't know that bro's going to go eat noodles after. No, well, no, let me land. You didn't know that bro's in Marbella, but he's eating ramen noodles. That's tough. Do you really want to be living like that? Like, are you going to be doing lifestyle, but not being able to actually enjoy the lifestyle? Do you know what I mean? Are you going to be out here? Are you going to be out here on a 5-star holiday?
They're not enjoying. They're enjoying on their budget. You know, people
I'm out in
advertise
Marbella on ramen. Marbella and ramen.
Yeah, because they're probably spending. No, I wouldn't say ramen because you can't take up any alcohol on ramen.
Well, that's what's happening. That's what's going on. Marbella and ramen. So people are not seeing, but people are not seeing that. People are just seeing, yeah, you're in Marbella, that's sun. But they don't realize that the person sacrificed a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I had a tragic time, but it was beautiful at the same time. It was great, but it was. But
at the same time, did you feel like you had to compare your holiday to someone else's?
I never compare anything to anyone else's. My lane is my lane, and ain't nobody can rock with me in my lane unless I invite you.
I mean, do you know what I mean? Vice versa. That's how life should work. But can I ask you another question? We'll get food after. You forgot I was gonna say. So, for me, I got a question for you as well. Yeah. So the fact that you didn't compare it, even though you spent a lot and your pockets took an L, did it feel like an L?
No, because you know why? You only allow things to feel like an L if you have that mindset where you weigh things heavily on your chest and you allow that to weigh you down and you keep that weight and you hold on to that weight and then you nurse that weight. I don't hold on to nothing that ain't serving me, first of all. So when it comes to energy, I protect my energy, and that also protects my mental health, right? So there were certain things that were going on, like, you know, I wouldn't really experience on my typical holiday, but I know that when I go on holiday, like, I'm on holiday vibrating high, like, always, like, the highest that I vibrate. Like, right now, I'm vibrating quite high, I'll be real. But you need holidays.
Like a general vibration.
Shut the fuck up. See this hand will vibrate high on your forehead. Anyway.
Okay. Why'd you go for the forehead? What are you trying to say?
What am I trying to say, guys?
Yeah, you know what? I walked into that way. Yeah.
Right? So, I know that I book these holidays for peace, right? Amen. So I know that I'm going on holidays to get peace, and nothing's going to disrupt that peace. But there will definitely be things in play to disrupt that peace, because you have, like, shit happens. Like, you know, you might have issues with your luggage, which I definitely did have, which I don't actually experience on any other holiday, but on this particular holiday, I did. You know, just energies sometimes don't particularly align, and then when that happens, things go wrong, but you have to be prepared for that. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to be prepared for things to go wrong, I feel like. So definitely just don't get disappointed, and then continue to obviously protect your energy, vibe high, and then just maintain that level of peace that you know that you came to find, and then just own it, you know? So that's definitely what I did on holiday and do on all my holidays. So I always come back with that energy and try to, like, nurse that energy instead of anything that went wrong, right? So that energy of vibing high, being peaceful, and, like, you know, just feeling good, like, about yourself and, you know, your life and whatever, right? That energy, I try to nurse that. You know, it's really hard to do that in life, like, in general, but definitely that's what I've tried to focus to do. And then obviously mental health in general, just keeping yourself stimulated, not having, you know, heavy things on your mind, on your heart, on your chest. A big thing I like to say is give it to God. If you can't handle it, if you don't know how to handle it, give it to God. I'm big on that. Like, God is, like, the ultimate healer, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to those things, you know what I'm saying, that's my rack. But other than that, just, you have to just know how to just stay within your own bubble. I feel like you have to be comfortable by yourself, first of all, and be comfortable alone. Because then you would be so attached to, oh, what they're going to do? Oh, if they're not going to do it, then I'm not going to do it. Or, you know, things like that. No. If you want to do it, go and do it. Like, this is about you, your money that you spent, your peace that you came to get. So go and do what you want to do. And then, obviously, just keep it true. Like, that's 100%. All.
So, you see what you just said, yeah? The fact that you were able to, you didn't compare your holiday to anyone else's.
Nah.
You weren't going out there thinking, right, I'm trying to enjoy it because this person enjoyed. You were able to enjoy that holiday wholeheartedly. But
Yeah.
what I feel like is happening these days, people are like, see, for example, let's say Dubai. People see everyone in Dubai, they're like,
I
damn.
wouldn't even go to Dubai. Like, I wouldn't even go to Dubai because I'm not even gonna pretend to flex in Dubai. I don't have Dubai money to be flexing in Dubai, right?
You don't need that much
Like-
money. I got family that live in Dubai. Dubai is not that expensive. It's just the way people. This is what I mean. Like I feel like the way people make things look, they almost make it feel like it's unattainable. But when you actually deep and you do your research, you're like, damn, you know what?
Like that money I
They're
spent
just
in
doing the
Marbella, I
most.
could definitely had a good time in Dubai. Like,
Definitely,
no problem.
100%.
But my point is, to the level of Dubai that I see, the luxury of Dubai, like I don't want to be doing Dubai on a budget. I don't want to be doing Dubai small.
What's wrong? All right. So
Like-
then, why? What makes you
know?
think? What makes you think Dubai on a budget would be any different from luxury Dubai? Like, what would the feeling would be different?
I don't
without
know,
without
like, I
comparing the
just-
looks.
Do you know what? Like for example, bearing in mind this is a country I've never been to. This
100.
is just for views' sakes, right? And for views' sakes, there's so much things. There's so much. It just gives luxury, right? Like being on a yacht, like do you know what I'm saying? The infinity pools, you know, dining and stuff like that. Like you see all these luxury cars and stuff like that. Like for me, like I would want to experience every part of that lifestyle that I've seen about that country. Do you know what I'm saying? So therefore, if I'm not in a position to do that, then I'm not going to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because then I don't want to
You
feel
won't feel the pressure.
restricted,
Yeah, you gotta see.
like, you know, within my experience. Whereas I know when I'm going to Marbella, I'm going to, you know, America. I know what I'm going there for. I know what I'm going to be doing. I know what I'm going to be spending my money on. And
You
I
had
know
to
that's
throw in
within
America.
my
Yeah.
means.
Be waiting to throw in America, innit?
What? Shout out to New York, New York.
No, man, they should be waiting to throw that one in.
Listen.
She ain't even got the accent no more.
I don't, but you know what?
They be like, "Where you from, dawg?"
Shit gets put on.
No, 100.
Like I can put that shit on like
100.
real quick.
So then, so you see what you just said there, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, you didn't use that as a comparison. You were just saying from what you see and how you would want to enjoy.
Yeah.
You would want to make sure that you have a plan. But I feel like other people would feel the pressure of having to go and enjoy exactly how that person has enjoyed, even if they may not have the means. Like I said, they'd rather do Marbella and ramen, which I feel like that then puts people in a space of resentment. For example, like with the kids of today. Now, the Instagram thing was just an example. The kids of today, with what they see in terms of the culture. A lot of what's being put out there and what's being propagated isn't positive. It's majority negative. And I feel like with that being pushed in their faces so much, that's what's pushing the negativity that's happening. And that's what's then influencing their mental health. But if people were more aware of the fact that, you know what, that's not all it is. There's more to it. Like, yes, this person might be living a lifestyle. Yes, they might be bigging it up, but you don't know what they're saying at home when they're talking to their family. They might be telling their family, "Damn, I'm not be trying to do this." You know what I mean? I wish I could do something different.
100%.
And you could be in a position to do that something
Like, have
different.
you seen the Nines movies? Like,
100%.
right. So, like, literally like that. You tell the story, right? They have something that they're fighting for, right, at home, but they're in these streets actively. Might not want to make certain decisions, but they feel like forced to make these decisions because of the powers at play in the game, right? And that's kind of like where you have to know when to get in and get out if you're actually about that life, right? But I would obviously wouldn't encourage that for anyone. Like, I've got brothers, like, do you know what I'm saying? I would never want them to be about that life, but I know that I wouldn't want anyone to ever think that they're pussy because they're not, right? But at the same time, they have a strong head on their shoulders and they're not going to be easily influenced by, you know, outside parties or feel peer pressure to make certain decisions that they don't need to make because it's not beneficial to them or to anyone else in the long run. It might
There we
look
go.
like, I don't know, it might look like gangster in the moment, or you don't want to feel like, you know, a pussy in the moment, but like you have to think of,
What's wrong with being a little pussy? I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes
No,
it's alright
okay,
to
no,
run.
wait,
Sometimes
no.
it's good to run. This is no way. I'm gonna have to cut you off on that one. I'm sorry.
Can I land first?
No. We're gonna let you cruise for a little bit. We're gonna let you
Don't
cruise.
actually put yourself in danger and, you know, allow your, shut up. Don't allow,
Just shush me again. I told you that I was gonna come back for this one because I did deep until I went back. She just me. I can. You gonna scrap right now? We could go right now. Listen, the people are gone. There's no
Don't
witnesses.
put yourself in danger. Don't allow your pride to draw you out in a situation where you cannot handle. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's like, know when to walk away. I don't say run away because I don't think you should ever run from anything. Don't feel
100%.
from but God, right? But
Sometimes it's necessary. Get yourself to safety is important. This, hold on, I get what she's saying.
Yeah.
But my thing is this, right? I understand, like, because this is another thing I wanted to say about. I wanted to add into the mental health thing. I feel like there's been an unnecessary pressure that's been put onto these kids with what's being propagated, because now every child feels like they need to be the world's strongest man. That is not the case.
Be strong up here.
Some people just aren't
Be
strong.
up here.
Yeah, some people aren't physically strong,
the greatest
and
thing
that's okay. Some people are mentally strong. Exactly what she said. Some people are mentally strong, and that's okay. But I feel like in today's society, what's happened is there's been a lot of emphasis put onto being either you have to be physically strong or you have to be mentally strong. Why can't you be one or the other? Not everyone is the same. Well, not everyone is going to be the same. There's always going to be someone stronger. Yeah, there you go.
It's not one
balance is
or
the
the
most
other.
important.
You need the balance.
But it can be one or the other.
It definitely can be, but then you have to realign yourself to get balance.
100%. I remember I feel like you don't, as young people, you don't need to be at your peak so young, because I realized that a lot of what's happening, a lot of these kids are dying because they're trying to be old. They're trying to grow fast. Like for me, when I was a kid, I'm not gonna lie, I was out here doing nonsense because of that exact same thing. I wanted to grow up. I thought growing up was where everything was gonna be, and what the be and all was gonna be. Let's say through life, yeah. I thought that once I get big enough, I'm gonna be able to do whatever I like. I'll be.
So that head's big enough.
When I get big enough.
That head's been big enough. So what's the excuse?
You see what I mean? Don't let no one get you down, okay?
See?
I am proud of my identity and my well-sized head.
Power to the people.
No power to the people. You just got onto my head. How dare you? How dare you? And also, now I forgot I was. Oh yeah.
See?
Oh yeah. The kids not having to be so strong. Yeah, you don't have to be. Not everything has to be encompassed. You don't need to grow too fast. I wanted to grow too fast. I realized once I got older, damn, should have taken a bit more time. Do you know what I mean? You didn't.
Time, guys.
There you go. Like you don't need to finish everything now.
Try to speed up any experience.
Yeah, you don't need to live. Yeah, wait for things to come your way.
To being stressed out, because adulthood be stressful, child.
True.
Adulthood,
it is.
Be stressful,
but in a good way. In a good way.
It's fun.
Yeah, in a good way.
Like it's fun. Don't get it twisted.
You learn a lot.
You learn a lot about yourself, about other people.
100%.
You might learn about yourself is inevitable, but learning about other people, about other people, especially you think you know them already, that is the real kicker.
That is the best. I'm not gonna lie.
That's funny.
That one is the best.
I think definitely it's life, right? You have to dust off anyone that can't grow with you, right? Any weight, anything that's not really like I said, seasons, right? In one season, might have been cool to kick it. In this season, I'm on some other stuff, but it's not cool to kick it anymore,
I feel you on that one. 100%. But oh wait, before we end off, there's a couple things I want to say just to young people. Number 1, don't rush your life. Number 2, embrace your life. And number 3, embrace each other. I feel like
tomorrow's not promised. Live your life
100%.
To the fullest every day. Like pray over yourself and your friends and the people that you love and that you're connected to in your territory. You might not even want them to be around like that, but if you know they're in your territory, just pray for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? They might be wilding out a little bit. They might be doing some fucked up stuff, but you know what? It's their spirit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes their spirit gets influenced by other spirits that they don't even know about, right? So I just feel definitely just protect yourself, protect your circle and your family, and just make sure that you are just doing what you got to do for you and what that means in terms of prospering yourself, right, in the best way.
100%. I agree with that one. And on that note, remember people, make sure you say thank you to someone. Make sure you say you love someone, and don't forget to smile. It's been your host, Mercy.
Big rose, big brrr. You know what I'm saying? Stay lit, stay popping. Believe in your source always. You know what I'm saying? And like, just what I'm saying, glory to God. Like, this sun is just giving. Like, you know what?
Yeah, I'm outside. Why
it's
wouldn't it be
Carnival
shining?
weekend, by the way, and literally it's Carnival today, but we're not shooting. We should go Carnival tomorrow and shoot and ask people questions. So we're gonna do that. So to be continued, part 2 or part 3 actually.
There you go. That's a shout. There you go. Exactly what she said. See what I mean? Coming up with ideas. Is she gonna be on time? Do we know?
What is on time? It's Carnival. Like, please, it's bank holiday weekend.
On time is you set a time and you get there for that time.
And I clock in at 9 to 6. Period. But let's just shout out to the fifth though. Like, right? The thing is
It's giving enter the matrix. Once again, she's gone without the mic. But she's just talking. It's fine. It didn't pick her up last time.
And
And one
people,
second.
that is a wrap. Big brr. Stay blessed, stay prosperous, stay popping. We out.
Right, God, that's perfect. All right. I didn't even know that. 40 minutes. That one's not as long, you know.
How do you know that it was still recording? Is it even still recording now?
Oh, yeah. Like, no, so.